he found himself in a glamorous university has always been a mystery the crow will never get to liberate out of its sanity. Along the chop-struck allegory of his mentality caged with vanity, he needed gimmicks to chase away the bad aura of his outraged, chunky and choky days. One would say he was a wounded creep in sheep's clothing. He was a snippet of Adolf Hitler against the finest female breeds. It was not like the devil tagged him from birth, rather a traumatic experience that altered his beautiful, beckoning Bob soul from a small town of Grigny, France. His story posed an intrinsic difference. There lay an ever-pressing story of an evil mother like Ursula. He would recall how his affable, amicable father was swayed to weakness by heartache, bloated by the betrayal advertised like a carpet by his own mother. He watched his father suffer the repercussions of having a son good heart. Cruelty, cunningness, lies, maliciousness was the bracket definition of a lady to him. He witnessed his father's fierce expression beg his mother every day for loyalty. The more he pleaded, the more she put out her rifle of insolence like an octopus. His father was tranquil, and he had an ancient loving heart like Moses. Regardless, he was oppressed throughout his catabolic life cycle. His mama bit off the charisma from his father's enclosed body until he screamed for closure like a sloth, denting Ryan's conception about women. A seed of thought that was planted that made him think all women were tyrants. Tell me, why wouldn't he recover with an evolution of personality? He wanted vengeance like a ticking bomb. He developed the most vivid paralyzed antics like an equalizer. He squandered the life out of every pumping heart owned by a girl in his university. He believed that sucking them of joy like a leech would gratify and heal his bleeding inner child. He scheduled his network of flings on campus like a cobweb, each a secret to the other like a parable. A generation of girls owing up to live by the inerasable deeds of Ryan's mother. How sadistic. While his days were busy growing whiskers. One day, his breath was suddenly set upon a girl. She had mulberry moon eyes that heard an expressive symphony for God. For the first time, he experienced a tingle in his legs. His skin grew blisters of joy. His heart ferried along the heavenly tongues she spat like a crazy llama. The wave of anointing at the scenery hit his hair follicles, and he began to stammer and extravert. Bonjour, je m'appelle Ayan, et ta voix? Magnifique, he said, holding a panicking apparent smile. She looked at him with a raised eyebrow, like an angry hen, trying to contemplate why he disturbed her prayer hour. Her furnished legs with flexibility and flawlessness like a giraffe carried her away from his presence. Annette de Passimondé, he thought, in the voice of his kinsman. Later, his footprints started visiting the university church cathedral, forging a friendship with a girl. He desired to learn the outstanding principles that drew an atmosphere of anointing. This was the first time a narcissist had truly started to nurture another soul. Unknowingly, his interior decorated wounds began to shrink to a place called healing. The Girls' Association assisted him to dive into newness, like an eagle. Her character was plastered by God, for it had stamina in the perilous thrones of the heavens. Ryan was a narcissist, but he began learning principles of love at the feet of God. Even though he adored her dedication, he still didn't understand why she worshipped so much. At the blossom of July, she disappeared. Ryan thought she had probably just been away. One day, while he was taking ululating steps towards the car park, a strange black rover with a bearded bald man, a radiant brown skin, a belly that looked like it carried worldwide complaints, caught his pioneered sight. This man ushered out long golden legs in full-blown stilettos, a ripped short, and a flat tummy that sang along with a crop top, and she was holding a cigar. When Ryan raised his eyebrow from her feet to her head, his jaw moved to the ground and his hair tightened. It was the same cathedral, prayerful university girl. In the heated moment, her ever-gleaming beauty was like an ugly donkey in his sight. He held her hand tight, seeking for an explanation. "Look, Ryan, trust me, I have tried, I have fasted, prayed, sought the Lord in all purity, but my family's lowly regime remains unanswered. I have a balance for three years that causes me to have nausea. Tell me, what do I do when the school has vowed to ask me like a baker? I have chosen this path, and maybe this sugar daddy will attest his curse." Ryan felt his throat had screws and steam was burning his eyes. He dropped to the ground, feeling defeated like a piñata. "Señor, pourquoi?" Ryan's eyes entailed a loss of faith in seemingly prayerful people. He felt betrayed. He felt like abandoning his Christianity. Weeks later, bad news spread like a virus about how the university Christian cathedral girl paraded with alcohol to her ancestors by an accident. My questions to you are, who holds your faith and trust as a Christian? Can you stand the taste of time like a weed? Even those who seem righteous backslide. If you are the cathedral girl, what would you do?